after the men were killed, after their heads were severed from their bodies, after they were put onto spears, after their women were taken as captives, the family of Al-Hussein issued a prayer while in prostration to God. They said, Allahumma laka alhamdu, hamdu shakirina laka ala musabihim. They said, Ya Allah, all praises to you, the praise of those who are gracious for their misfortune. They gave thanks to Allah after this misfortune. How? Perhaps they knew that the sacrifice of Al-Hussein would give rise to an uprising that would overthrow the tyranny of Yazid. Or perhaps they knew that a young boy would look at this story some 1400 years later to illuminate the darkest of his times. Through Al-Hussein, I too became thankful, because for the first time in my life, I thought about death, and because of that, I understood what it meant to live. I was able to overthrow a tyranny of materialism and replace it with a passion for God consciousness. In this dungeon of despair, I finally opened my eyes to an incredible sight. The Holy Quran had opened herself up and she began to sing to me. She said, La ikraha fi din, qad tabayyana ar-rushdu min al-ghayb, faman yakfur bit-taghuti ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور. The Quran told me, surely there's no compulsion in faith, but the right way has become self-evident. For anyone who disavows any sort of idol and instead holds on to God, they have held on to the firmest handle which will never break. Allah is the protector of those who believe, and He takes them from darkness and into the light. Through Al-Hussein, I gained the strength to put my trust into God, and together we scaled this pit. My mother experienced a miracle. Her cancer entered into remission. And as a family, we were able to spend 2 wonderful years together. Unfortunately, she did pass away. But I think about this memory of Al-Hussein, and for everyone today on this night, whatever your issues, whether it be through sickness or with work or education or family, through Al-Hussein, put your trust into God, and through him, He will take you from darkness and into the light. I will ask you to do salawat, and after that, please recite a Surah Fatiha in memory of my mother, Shaheen Pyarli. Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat.
Can we get another loud salawat for that beautiful recitation of poetry? Salawat. I would like to now call up our second reciter for tonight, Sister Zainab. If she can come up with, please help me invite her up with a loud salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Since the Hajj, our slates are clear. Muharram is the first month of the year. In this month, Bina Israel got his freedom from Fir'aun's wrath. Hazrat Hassan and Hussein were martyred in Allah's path. Fir'aun was a very trying king indeed, and he exceeded the limits of his deeds. Allah taught us a lesson through Fir'aun. Those who defy Allah's message will drown. Martyrs have blissful life in paradise. They escape the prison of this life, which is nice. Allah teaches us through shahadat, and we have wished for the best of ibadat. We must change our lifestyle and have Allah's fear to truly deserve a happy and peerless life the new year. If our iman is strong, Allah will help us all along. Salawat.
One more loud salawat for the sister. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, before I invite up our speaker for tonight, just a couple of announcements. One of them being that we do have overflow rooms, so if you guys are feeling cramped in here and it's getting too hot or for whatever reason, we do have overflow rooms for English. For sisters, it's in the ladies' dining hall, and for brothers, it's in the English, it's in the library, in the hallways, inshallah. So, and with that, yeah, the TV's on, it's loud, it's there's a lot of space in there as well, so if you guys are feeling you need more space. But I do see some spaces between brothers still, and I see a lot of empty spots still, so if you guys can please, once again, kind of move forward, kind of squeeze together.
Especially the young brothers.
Yeah.
If you want to keep getting in and out, please go to overflow room. Once you get out, you lose your entrance back to the floor. So please don't disturb the program tonight.
Inshallah, and in these nights we do have a lot of new people that come to Saba, so we'd like to welcome you guys to Saba. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So for those of you who are new to Saba, welcome. If you guys have any questions about the program or about the facility or anything in particular, please don't hesitate to come and ask one of the organizers. Myself, Zen, Hasnan, Ayman, Ali, Asghar on the brother side. On the sister side, Fatima, Kissa, Manize, Abir. Please don't hesitate to come and ask somebody with a green band as well. Will be there. So along with also with the overflow room, we do have babysitting for little children. We have kids program for ages 5 to 14. Brothers are in the puppet show room, and sisters is in the Sunday school hallway. And we do have babysitting as well for little children. That is in the Saba Academy hallway. So you please ask all parents that have little children with them to please take them there so as to not disturb the people around you and the program. We do have a text hotline as well. If you have any feedback, we do appreciate any feedback you guys give. It helps us put on better programs, know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and how to make these programs better. The number is 408-478-9261. We appreciate all that. And one last important message announcement is that after the Latmiya here, there will be a Julus. So inshallah, once the program ends, we'll do Latmiya in here, one or two Latmiyas, and then at 10:30 exactly, we're going to be heading outside. So the way it's going to work, brothers are going to exit through this hallway and get their shoes, and then exit how they would go back to the parking lot. Sisters, we ask that you guys go around and go into the middle hallway right there and wait for the English brothers to leave, and then you guys can come behind us, inshallah. And then from that, the other halls will join us. What the plan is, we're going to go outside into the parking lot, turn right, and then turn right again, so like we're going around the building towards the back of the hall. And that's how the Julus is going to go, and inshallah we'll be reciting Latmiya the entire time. And when we get inside, when we get to the other side, the Saba Academy side, the Saba Academy entrance, that's where we will do the multilingual Latmiya, inshallah. So you please encourage everyone to stay. If you finish before 10:30, we ask you guys stay in this hall and wait till all the other halls are done. and that we can all go out together and be united in this front, inshallah, and be like, we can be loud and have English Latmiya be a presence, inshallah, with that. One last thing I forgot to mention, I apologize, is that for those of you guys who weren't here yesterday, we did some fundraising, and if you would like to donate, we please encourage you guys. We have envelopes and pens back there if you want to do a one-time donation, or if you want to be do a monthly membership, or if you want to do a pledge. So we encourage everyone to please, if you guys are interested, please raise your hand right now. Brother Asad is walking around, Brother Hasnan as well. Sisters, if you guys would like some, I can get you guys some envelopes. We'll just do it. Please just raise your hand. We want to get the program started over here. On the sister side, if there's any interest, I can get you guys envelopes. Okay, can we get some envelopes, please? Sorry about that. Inshallah, we'll just do that for just a couple of minutes, and then Sheikh is already here, so I don't need to call him up, but we'll get the program started, inshallah. Get a pen. Get some pens. Once again, there is overflow rooms. If it gets too cramped and see sisters is very crowded right now, there is overflow rooms in the ladies' dining hall. And if it's any other language, please tell one of us. We will change it back to English. Inshallah, with that, we'll begin our program. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Sisters, once you guys are done with the envelopes, please keep it on this table right here. We'll collect them after the program. And brothers, hand it to whoever handed you to you. Salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بارئ الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وأما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المتين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلنا قبلك من مرسلين إلا أنهم لما ليأكلون طعاما ويمشون في الأسواق وجعلنا بعضكم ببعض فتنة أتصبرون وكان ربك بصيرا صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. So brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It may have been many years ago that I was here during Dahya Ashura, Muharram, and so since it has possibly been some years, because I can't really remember if I've ever been here in Muharram or not, like for Dahya Ashura. But just to give you a warning as to my style and how we view this whole thing is, tonight, this day is a turning point for me. That whatever we had been talking about, anywhere I go, whenever I speak, we'll talk about something for 9 days. Till we get right down to the 9th, 10th night, and then it's time to change gears. Because what happens is, a lot of us, when we approach this Dastan-e Karbala, this history of Karbala, then as Shias, being that this was a basement religion for thousands of years, you couldn't dare come out and speak the truth, come out and admit who you were. So we've fallen into certain habits that are unproductive, especially in the scenarios and situations that we find ourselves now. So traditionally we look at this Majalis al-Husayni and this history of Karbala as a tragedy, and we're enjoined to and recommended to remember and recall to mind the tragic side of this event for more than one reason. But there comes a time when we have to turn a corner. And usually for me, Yom Ashura is when we turn the corner. Why? Because this is where tragedy ends. Really. I mean, really, most people look at it like that's the high point of the tragedy. The pinnacle, the summit of the tragedy of Karbala, of Muharram, is on the 10th day. And traditionally, that's how we've looked at it, like, everything intensifies for the 10th. And that's good, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But in our message, we got to change gears. Because if you're going to gain momentum from this month, if you know anything about how cars move and things work, if you keep your car in first gear on the highway, you're going to burn up your transmission. You wreck the car. And there is nothing that I will do for you because I don't touch transmission. You're done. Khalas. Now you got to go pay some real money. Now you got to change gear at some point. If you don't change gear, you will burn up your transmission. It's time to change gear. And we'll explain that this evening, what we mean. But because we have been discussing the issue of tests, it is Shab Ashura. Hopefully we can squeeze a little more time out of you tonight. I know people are like, oh, Baba, this guy will just keep talking and talking and talking and talking. And if you keep bringing tea up here, we might. But before we begin, really the main portion of this evening's discussion, I think we have to discuss a little bit more personally about tests that we face in life and how we overcome them, because this is something that murataban, over and over again, these issues come up, and it's worth addressing, insha'Allah. It's worth talking about. And so if you'll bear with me, we'll begin, inshallah. So that we get a good start, send a loud Husseini salawat. Almost. Just take it up a little bit more, inshallah. Salawat. You guys never heard about Loud School? Who knows about Loud School? Who's the head of the madrasa here? Loud School is when you put little kids down and you make them yell everything. If you've got kids that you want to teach and you want them to memorize stuff, make them yell what you want them to memorize. No, it works. You laugh as you like. They call it Loud School. Make them yell anything. You want them to memorize Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, make them yell it at the top of their voice until their voice starts to hurt a little bit. They've got it. Basta. It's in their head. Guarantee. You don't believe me? Try it yourself. That's why we ask for loudness, insha'Allah. So one thing we wanted to talk about very seriously to introduce our discussion, we'll start with a funny little story. I was telling somebody about this today, and it's a good way to introduce our little unscripted portion of our speech this evening. Did you guys hear about this robot? They made like an autonomous robot. It could like find its way via GPS, and it traveled all across Europe. Thing went like from one end of Europe to the other end of Europe. Everything went smoothly. The robot found his way just perfectly. He traveled across Europe by himself, guided by nothing but GPS and a team of programmers, and he left from the far east of Europe and traveled all the way across Europe safely, soundly, perfectly, passed all of his tests. They pack him on a boat. They send him across the Atlantic Ocean, and they say, we're going to do the same thing in America. This robot will start him on the East Coast, and we'll drive that sucker all the way across America till we get to the West Coast. And they get off the boat in America, and they get to Baltimore, and Americans beat the life out of the robot, destroy it, and steal the parts from it. Blasted robot went all the way across Europe. Nobody touched it. Nobody scratched it. Nobody hurt it. Nobody did anything to it. Robot gets off the boat in America, and we beat it to death. The point of the story is understand where you live. We're all a little crazy here. There's a reason that the Chinese don't get their loan money back from us. They've loaned us a lot of money. We're in very deep debt to China right now, but there's a reason that they don't ask us for that money back. Number one is because we're their best customer. And anybody in the casino knows you never bust out the high roller. You don't want to make the high roller broke. He spends the most money in the place. If you break him, you lose money. We're the best customer, so they can't bust us out. Number two is we're crazy. We're crazy. We are a people, a nation of people that have a variety of problems. And even though we start the discussion rather humorously, now we want to change gears a little bit and get serious. We've been talking about problems, tests, trials, tribulations, the sources, the ways in which Allah tests us. And we've tried to touch a little bit also on the solutions. I mean, one of the solutions we mentioned is we have to get rid of su'e dhann bi khuda. We have to stop having a bad opinion of Allah. Human beings have this idea that Allah is out to get us, and He's not. He loves us, He cares for us, He wants to guide us, and He wants us to attain perfection, and He's not punishing us, and He's not mad at us, and if you are to be punished, it will be a result of your own deeds. We earned it. That's the beautiful thing about Allah. You're not going to pay for my sins, and I won't pay for yours. And nobody can pay the bill for us. That's part of the problem our country is in, because we always expect somebody else to pay the bill. We've got to pay this bill. This bill that we have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we'll pay it, and it's ours. Each and every one of us who live here, we're sick. We're sick. And one thing we have to realize, we've mentioned su'e dhann, we need a better opinion of Allah. We've mentioned also hubb bid-dunya, love of the world, that everything you love creates a fear in you that you will lose it. We've discussed these things. And tomorrow night, inshallah, we'll spend a little more time going over what the main portion of our lecture was. But this evening, just to introduce our discussion very quickly, I wanted to touch on something very important. Okay? And that is rahm, mercy, and forgiveness. If we are to pass the tests that have been given to us, then we must also show mercy and forgiveness. Bil khusus, when we talk about old wounds. What do I mean? In America, we have a huge problem, and maybe many of us here don't suffer with it in the way that I may discuss it. But we suffer with some shape or form of this. Many of us are carrying inside of us angers at other people. We're angry at our dads. We're angry at our moms. We're angry at other people. And I felt it necessary, especially with discussions that I have with brothers as we go around the country, sisters, as we go around the country and we talk to people. This is a big problem in America. People are angry with their fathers. So we wanted to make the best way to deal with that wound. Should you keep picking at it? Getting the scab off it? Messing with it? Opening it up again? No. At some point you have to leave that wound alone. Let it heal. Let it grow a scab. And if you're really lucky, put a little medicine on it. And when we're talking about wounds in our heart, The leaving the wound alone, that means having forgiveness with people. Forgive people. And when we talk about putting medicine on wounds, that means asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on people and to forgive them. It's very important that we mention this, because a lot of times we're struggling with relationship problems and we don't know what the source of it is. We don't quite understand why we act the way we do or why the other person acts the way they do. So we'll discover the rams and explain the secret of it this evening very quickly before we move on, so we can understand this. Brothers and sisters, do me a favor, go and read Risalatul Huquq by Imam Zain al-Abidin. Look, anything you get from Imam Zain al-Abidin, it's a message from Karbala. Anything you get from Imam Zain al-Abidin, it's the spirit of Karbala. Go and read Risalatul Huquq, a treatise on rights. In particular, read about the rights of the father and the rights of the mother. What we have to realize about our relationship with our fathers and our mothers, and it's not just biological fathers or mothers, it could be spiritual fathers or mothers, it could be close family friends who filled that role for us, whatever it is. If we are angry at, if you're long enough to catch it yet, you live here long enough, you'll catch it. More than 50% of the births in the country are illegitimate. These are the people you go to school with, you work with, you live next door to. More than 50% of the births in the country are illegitimate. That means family is not together. Generations of people are growing up with anger, disappointment in their hearts towards their fathers. Your father, you can never be a good man or a good husband. Forget about it. It's not possible. If you're angry with your father, you have to forgive, ask Allah to also forgive, and then show love. And the reason is because Imam Zain al-Abidin says in a treatise on rights, your father is your root. Anything that you see good in yourself, then know that it's from your father. And if you're angry with your father, you can't be a man. It's not possible. And for the sisters who may be angry with their fathers, women who are angry with their fathers have problems with their husbands. And they will. Why they get mad at him, why they're short-tempered with him, but the root of it is the problem that they have with their father. And it goes like this with men and with women. Brothers, if brothers are upset with their mother, they will have a problem with their wife. This is one of the sources of divorce in this culture and in our own culture and around the world. We, no matter what we've been through, no matter how we've suffered at their hands, no matter how we've been disappointed, we have to realize that parents are our source. They are part of that chain of cause and effect that brought us here. And if we're angry with them, upset with them, then we're also upset with ourselves. If we're dissatisfied with them, we're also dissatisfied with themselves. When my kids tell me I'm crazy, I say yes, but you are too. Understand where you come from. Crazy plus crazy, it make what? Crazy. So we have to realize these things so that we can heal ourselves and move on, insha'Allah. Wounds that we've received from others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this very verse of Quran that we just read, that Allah tests people by means of others. So people are a test also. And the same rules of test that we've gone over apply to that. if we have these type of feelings in our hearts, then the only solution, the only cure to this, to have a safe marriage, comfortable marriage, the only way to have healthy relationships is to forgive, ask Allah to forgive, and Baba, move on. A lot of us, something bad happened to us 20 years ago, and Baba, that was 20 years ago. You want to live then forever? You want to live in 1996 forever? Forever? Elishkan. Taslim, surrender, Baba. Give up, move on. No, a lot of us, something bad happens to us and we reignite it and open the wound up and open the wound up and open the wound up and never offer forgiveness. And forgiveness is mandatory for us. Allah says this in Quran, even with the greatest sins, even in the case of murder. A murder victim's family can forgive the murderer. And Allah says it, forgiveness is better for you if you knew. Why? Because it's not about saving that person's life. Don't get confused that when you forgive someone, you're doing something for someone else. You forgive him, now that haqqun nas, which is one of the serious sins that Allah has regarded, the rights of other human beings, you forgive them, you release them from that, you've done a great deed for them, insha'Allah. But when you forgive people, you're doing good for yourself. It's healing to our own hearts. We're putting medicine on that wound and letting it heal. And it's very important that when we encounter these type of tests, that we realize part of the reason we're so unsociable, part of the reason we're just so difficult to get along with is because our parents were difficult to get along with. And when we get divorced, it's because our parents got divorced. When we separate, it's because our parents separated. And this begins a chain of unhappiness, despair, sadness that is very difficult to break out of except with forgiveness. And so this is one of the ways in which we can begin to heal ourselves and heal the society, not just our own community, but the society around us, insha'Allah. Send the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So we've been talking about tests, insha'Allah. One thing I hate is that when people talk about religion, anytime people bring up religion, and it's any religion, let's understand something. Every now and again, we'll take pot shots at this place or that place, and even we have to learn how to laugh at ourselves. Some of the crazy stuff we do. You know, there's Muslims that are probably in here tonight that came here tonight to cry for Imam Hussein. This is the only time you'll see them tonight. They came here to cry for Imam Hussein because they think that some way, somehow, you beat your chest for a little while and you shed a few crocodile tears and poof, you're magically forgiven for all that you've done in the last year. It doesn't work like this. Don't think that there's some rams, some magic trick. You can come here and you can do something for one night or 7 nights or 10 nights and it makes a difference. No, don't think that we're going to be delivered and salvation is ours because we came here one night. Our hearts have to change. Our actions have to change. So, one thing I hate is when people come and talk about religion. They always propose like that this religion, you have problems, you face issues in life, you have calamities that you're dealing with, religion can help you. And we sell it, market it like this. Even when we go and talk to people, like you'll hear brothers talking about, we're going to go tablighat, do tablighat in the poor areas. Oh, this is good. It's not a bad idea at all. Centers, activities should be in the areas where the oppressed people are so that we can serve them. But often what we do is we go there because we say, badbakhtan bicharan, deen nadarand. We're going to go there and spread religion to them. Because only depressed people and oppressed people need religion. This is how we market it. You have problems? Religion. It'll solve your problem. You have an issue, you have a calamity, a trial, a tribulation, I mean, take a pamphlet. It'll help you. And this is how we market religion. Religion, deen, spirituality, because I really don't like the term religion either. Deen, when you translate it, it does translate into religion. I more prefer the translation method, system, program. Why? Because when you talk about religion, a lot of people have been turned off by religion. So you just, as soon as you say religion, they say, click. Because we have to understand something. On this side of the world, people have been oppressed by religion. The whole reason America was founded was because some cats were oppressed by religion in the old world. And they said, to heck with this. We're going to go someplace where we can be free from this tyranny and oppression. I mean, there was a time when the Catholic Church ruled and ran and controlled everything, left no breathing space for anyone else. And if you wanted to be free of that type of tyranny, because really that's what it was. We're not saying the Catholic Church today is like that. We're saying that at one time it was like that, and people wanted to get away from that. This place was founded on that basis. So don't be surprised today that the vast majority of the people around you have a bad history with quote-unquote religion. So I don't like the word religion. But when we talk about spirituality, spiritual growth, deen, don't sell it as a problem solver. Because what happens is, and this is what's happened to many of us, when do we make dua? When we have a problem. When we run into trouble. Yani, we don't make dua any other time. But if we start looking for a job, then every day, ziyarat ashura. But the minute we get the job, Baba, I gotta go to work. No time for ziyarat ashura now. When we have a problem, we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as soon as problem is fixed, back to regular life. This is one of the issues that we practice our religion like that. It's counterproductive to growth. Why? We're like little kids. We run into some problem. We're going to run to Granny's house and hide in there. I'm going to Granny's house. Oh, you hurt my feelings? Oh, I'm going to go to Granny's house. Oh, I have a problem? I'm going to go cry on Granny's bedspread. Oh, there's some bala, some tribulation that I have? I'm going to go wrap up myself in Granny's bedsheet. Y'all guys watch the First 48? I love the show. A&E, First 48. They show you like how detectives track down killers. They got to find their first clues. It's a reality show. Like, you know, they're really filming real detectives, real criminals. It astounds me. A man will kill somebody and then run and hide at Granny's house. Watch the show sometime. I mean, it's surprising. Baba, you killed somebody. They called you in for questioning. They let you go because they didn't have evidence. Me, the minute I left the station, I'd have been gone. Boom! Catch a taxi and move! They let me out. They didn't have evidence to hold me. Yeah! Let's get out of town. These guys, they get out of questioning. They don't have the evidence to hold you. And where do they go? Police always watch the show. Don't believe me. Police always find them under Granny's bed. What? A 32-year-old man like you hiding under Granny's bed? You've got the jor'at. You've got the, what do they call jor'at in English? The not bravery. This is not bravery. The audacity. You've got the audacity to kill another human being and hide under Granny's bed. You don't even have the decency to go on the run, hijack a car, flee across country. Baba, do something decent. Nah, he goes and hides under Granny's bed. This is what we do with Allah too. We run into some problem, we want to run and hide under Granny's bed. And the minute that the dust settles and the problem passes, then we peep out and we say, okay, it's good, we come out. It's a problem. We practice our religion like that. Dua, religion, munajat, ziyarat, a'mal that we do, irtibat ba khuda, connection with God, is not for only when we have a problem. It's not for only when we have a problem. You know, people went to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And they asked him, Ali, how were you able to pull the doors off of Khaybar? I mean, how did you do that? You pulled the doors right off of the fortress of Khaybar, and it took so many other people to lift it up. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, I did that not with quwwat badani. I didn't do it with physical strength. I did it with quwwat ruhi, with spiritual strength. And what does that mean for us? Brothers, religion is not just for the oppressed. Was Imam Ali oppressed? Religion is not just for the depressed. Deen and spirituality is not just for the badbacht. Some of us look at it like it's a class issue. We get a little money in our pockets, we get a few degrees on the wall, and let's be honest with you, college degree does not impress me. Okay, I know too many college degree holders, people that have graduated from big universities, and one of them gonna ask me the other day how you spell celebration. Baba, you got a master's degree and you can't spell celebration? It doesn't fool me, these things on the wall. That just means you could take tests and show up someplace at a certain time. But some of us, we think that because we got a little money, a different car, a nice house, that moving up in life means moving further away from Allah, and that religion is something of lower class people. This is what low class people do. I'm sophisticated. I'm modern. And so I don't need spirituality. I've got my Mercedes-Benz. Fact of the matter is, religion is for everyone at each time. Spiritual growth belongs to us all. And when we're talking about tests, it's the only thing that really gets us through these tests, insha'Allah. A lot of us feel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing us to make us suffer, that ma bayad daghun bishim. You know, we have to become leh bishim. We have to be flattened and completely destroyed for Allah to save us. We have to go to Allah and make dua and say, Allah, man daghun shadam. Lehm kardan. You know, I'm flattened. Ya Allah, help me. No. You don't have to be daghun. You don't have to be utterly destroyed, utterly decimated to be saved by Allah. In fact, Allah doesn't want us to be daghun. Allah prefers if we are not daghun. And khudumun daghun nakonim. Don't destroy and flatten our own self. It's very important that we realize that Allah isn't out to get us, and that He doesn't want us broken down to our utter basics as to save us. In fact, He wants to save us now, inshallah. Let me read a verse of Quran for you to make it very clear to you what I'm talking about. Send a salawat for me. Surah Fussilat, verse number 30, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وابشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون. And as for those who say, our Lord is Allah, and then they continue in the right path, and this continue in the right path is a wrong translation. It says ثم استقاموا. Istiqamat dar zaban Farsi is what? What do we call istiqamat in Farsi? Who can tell me the English? It means to stand firm, isn't it? Istiqamat, it means you need to resist, to stand firm. Quran says those who say our Lord is Allah, ثم استقاموا, then they stand firm. Not that they, what's it say here? Then they continue in the right path. That's a very loose translation. ثم استقاموا is much more powerful than this. Istiqamat is much more than merely just continuing in the right path. Istiqamat has a resistance to it. Istiqamat has a fearlessness to it. Istiqamat has a certain invincibility to it. To do istiqamat, it's different than to continue in the right path. ثم استقاموا, says Quran, تتنزل عليهم الملائكة. Allah sends down upon these people malaika. Allah doesn't want to dagoon us. Allah doesn't want to destroy us, flatten us, make us suffer. No. What's He want us to do? He wants us to stand firm, be fearless. And if you do that, then He'll send down angels to assist you. You thought that stuff only happened at Ghazawat Hazrat Rasulullah, in battles of Hazrat Rasulullah, that angels get sent down to help you? No, angels are there to help you. Don't have this fanciful idea of angels, huh? Af'al Khuda bi-asbab. Allah does things bi-wasila. Angels are part of this chain of wasa'il. Don't think it's something like some kind of being in a wings and a long flowing white rope and a big golden halo around their head is going to come and assist you. Allah's going to send His assistance to you. ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا, stand firm. And Allah will send down His angels. Why? Allah takhafu, that you should not fear. Saying, fear not. وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا, and don't worry. Don't be grieved, and receive good news of the garden which you were promised. This is beautiful. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want us to fear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be strong. Not every problem we run into, we have to run under granny's bed. Not every test and trial that we run into, we have to go and hide. Not every problem we run into, we have to... This is one of our big problems. Any mushkil that we run into, any problem we run into, Vai Vaila, ay khuda, what am I gonna do, Baba? It's just a flat tire. Relax. It's okay. Be a little patient. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be strong. He doesn't like courage. He doesn't like fear. He prefers courage. And if everything we run to granny's house, oh Allah, ya Vaila, it's a problem. Allah wants us to be standing firm, insha'Allah. We see that when we look at this particular verse of Quran that we just read especially, and I'd forgotten to mention this, so before we go too far, this same verse that we just mentioned where Allah says, as for those who say Allah is our Lord, and then they stood firm thereafter, Allah sends down His angels on them. There's a particular story, one thing about Quran has particular stories between revelation of many of these ayat and verses and chapters, so as to make us understand context. Context is very important. When this particular verse was sent down, Prophet said, oh my companions, not like praising those companions around him, but like with a longing, as though he was looking forward to these companions. And so his companions around him said, oh Rasulullah, aren't we your companions? Prophet says, no, the companions mentioned in this verse are my companions for Akhir Zaman, near the end of time, later on. This verse is about them. This verse is announcing victory for them. That's why I wanted to read this verse for us this evening. Tonight, Shab Ashura, it's a turning point. It's a victory in the movement of Imam Hussein. And a lot of people want to see the tragedy, and that's okay. Tragedy is what inspires us and incites us to resistance. That's all right. But tonight is when the story starts to change from tragedy to victory. In this night, Shab Ashura, some of the companions were joking with each other. In this night, companions received one last test. And that was the test of wilayat. The test of authority. The test of leadership. And especially a lot of us born and raised here in America, we have a real problem with authority. We do. I've even heard brothers go so far as to say, marja'iyat, and we don't make taqlid. Those guys are over there. They don't know what we're dealing with here. As if humans are different here or there. No. This test of wilayat, it really, to make you understand what it is, you hear this story all the time that Imam Hussein turned off the lights, told people to leave, gave them excuse to leave, sweetened the deal, told them take some of my kids. Some people did leave. Now when the lights went back on, did Imam Hussein take bay'at from the people again? Did you ever read that in the story? That the people they had made their bay'at with Imam Hussein. Then Imam Hussein removes the bay'at when he turns off the lights. When he turns back on this light, you will never read anything about the people lining up to make bay'at again to Imam Hussein. Why? Because if you stayed after the lights went back on, it was understood that you were still in the bay'at, maybe not bay'at dasti, that you put your hand in the hand of Imam Hussein, but definitely bay'at qalbi, this allegiance of the heart. This was a test that night when they turned off the lights. A test of wilayat. A test of leadership. A test of authority. They had to pass this test before Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam could show them their place in paradise. And this is the point we want to get to in our own lives also. We can't get to the victory until we pass through the test. We can't enjoy the promise that we've been given. In another verse, I'll read it for you in a moment, inshallah. Until we've passed the test. We can't enjoy the victory until we first tasted the bitterness of the test. On this night, these companions passed their test. On this night, they renewed their bay'at with Imam Hussein, but not so much so with the hand, but more so with the heart, insha'Allah. Sanna salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. A lot of us don't recognize this, but we also, just like the history of Karbala is turning a page tonight, we also have turned a page. Don't think that you're weak. Don't think that you're fearful, that you don't have the capacity, that you don't have the ability. Because Allah is testing you with whatever test we're faced with, it means that we can pass the test. Because Allah never tests anyone more than their ability. So because we have this test, because this test is ours, then it means that we can pass the test. And we, as a people, insha'Allah, have passed the stage of fear. And once you pass the stage of fear and you defeat fear, then you enter the era of victory. And this is a people that we are. We've entered the victory. In 30-something years, look at the growth of Tashayyo. Really, Inqilabi Bashid, Zidd Inqilab Bashid, it doesn't matter. You can't deny this. Since 1979 until today, Tashayyo has exploded. Shias now account for 6% of the population in Nigeria. 6%? When did that happen? And if the government says that there's 6% of the population in Nigeria, that means they're probably 10. We're getting up there with numbers like near Pakistan's numbers when we start talking about 10, 15, 20% of the population Nigeria. 40 years ago, there were no Shias in Nigeria. Iranian diplomats and muballighin are being kicked out across North Africa. Cultural interest sections are being closed, not because of espionage, not because of nuclear arms program, not because of anything other than Tashayyo is spreading at such a fast rate. Baba, they're giving speeches from the masajid in North Africa and saying, please, Mr. Government Man, shut down the Iranian cultural section. Tashayyo is spreading too fast. The people are being drawn to Ahl Bayt alayhim as-salam. We're seeing victory after victory. After 1400 years, Imam Hussein's sacrifice is bearing fruit now. 15 years ago, you could not go to Karbala and do Ma'atam Sine Zani publicly. I was there 15 years ago. You couldn't go there and hold Majalis Hosseini openly in the city of Hussein. Today you go there and you see the news. Things are changing for us, brothers. And even in this country. This whole mess that we have in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen, even in Lebanon. قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. Truth is being made clear from falsehood. The whole world is seeing who is Daesh. The whole world is seeing who is Saudi Arabia. The whole world is seeing who is Qatar. And the whole world is also seeing who is the resistance against these people. We've entered an era of victory. A time of great joy for us. And rather than us focusing simply on how badbacht we are and how hard the test is and how difficult it is to climb this hill, we should be focusing on the victory, the joy that comes from passing the test. Tonight, in the camp of Hussein, there is joy. Tonight, in the camp of Hussein, there's pleasure. When the enemy comes close to the camp of Hussein tonight, they don't hear weeping or wailing or lamenting or complaining. They hear dua. They hear recitation of Quran. They hear supplications, salat. Tonight, companions are joking with each other. Who will enter paradise first? Tonight, each companion is not sitting there in dread for tomorrow. You and I, because we're simple people, weak people, we think that that night in the camp of Hussein, people were sitting there glum and reading Quran in fear that tomorrow we will die. No, you have to understand something. They had passed the test of fear. Fear was now defeated in their lives. It held no sway over them anymore. When you see that Hussein comes and tells them, look, go away from me, get away from me, and the people stand up, they had to beg Hussein, Hussein, please, let us stay. Let us remain here with you. I mean, maybe you've never even heard of this. There's one man, Pahayish Falajbud. His legs were what I call paralyzed. He was a cripple. But it's not good to say this, brother. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Khairi was handicapped, brother. La ilaha illallah. This man, on the night of Ashura, delivered himself to the camp of Hussein by dragging himself with his arms to the tent of Hussein. When Hussein sees this man, he says, Akbar Agha, we have a guest. Ali Akbar comes. Ali Akbar tries to explain to this man, jihad isn't wajib on you. Your legs are paralyzed. You don't have to fight. He says, Hussein, don't turn me away. Hussein, don't turn me away. I can shoot arrows for you. This is the joy, the victory, the happiness that they had that night. Hussein, I know my legs are paralyzed, but he says, don't turn me away. I can shoot arrows for you. You know, on the day of Ashura, he was one of the archers of Imam Hussein. He was also there shooting arrows. Tonight, we can say to Hussein, Hussein, our legs, our ma'navi legs are also paralyzed, Hussein. Don't turn us away. Don't turn us away, Hussein. Let us into your camp. We want victory too. We want joy too. We want happiness too. We want forgiveness and everything that comes on this night to the Ashab Hussein. We want to be a sharik in that. Tonight is the night of victory. How can I explain this to you? I don't want to take too much of your time. How can I make you understand the victory that tonight is? You know, in this night, when the soldiers of Imam Hussein settled down, Imam Hussein, when he turned back on the lights, after he saw everyone had seen, these are the people who've passed the test. One of these verses that we just read to you, Allah says, those who stand firm, they say that Allah is their Lord, and then they stand firm, Allah sends down angels to inform them. Don't fear, don't worry. Here is the garden that we have already announced to you, that we've already promised you. Allah doesn't want you to wait. Allah doesn't also want to wait. Allah wants to let us know right now we're victorious. On that night, after Hussein turns back on the lights, relights the torches, and he sees those who've remained, then he informs everyone of the good news. He says, tomorrow all of you will be shaheed. Tomorrow all of you will be shuhada. All of the men are gathered in front of Imam Hussein, and he says, tomorrow all of you will be shuhada. All of you will be martyred tomorrow. They weren't struck with fear. They didn't turn yellow out of fright. They were overjoyed at the news. They were very happy at the news. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam shows each and every one of them their place in paradise. Yani, Allah doesn't even want to send angels down for these companions. Hussein informs them, don't fear. Don't be afraid. Don't worry. Here's your place in paradise. You know, in those days, when they gathered the men together, boys did not sit with men. Men were up front in a circle around Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam after the lights went off, and boys would have to stay on that outer circle. Tonight I want you to imagine a boy just on the verge of bulugh. He's sitting in the back, and he's hearing everything Imam Hussein says to the people. He's at that age where he really doesn't belong with the boys, but he can't fit in with the men yet. And so when Imam Hussein addresses the crowd and says, tomorrow all of you will be made martyrs, this boy starts to wonder, does Imam Hussein mean me too? Or is he only talking to the men? And I want you to understand, you may have heard this story before, and it may have been portrayed to you, this little boy, Hazrat Qasim, that maybe he was sad in some way. No, when Qasim hears Imam Hussein say, tomorrow all of you will be martyred, Qasim wants to make sure he isn't left out. Qasim wants to make sure that, Imam Hussein, you mean me too, right? I'm gonna be martyred tomorrow too, right? Hussein, don't leave me out. Uncle, don't forget me. Uncle, don't leave me out. I also want to be martyred tomorrow. When Qasim says, Uncle, tomorrow will I also be martyred? This is what Qasim is asking. He's not saying, uncle, is there a way out for me? He's saying, uncle, can I come too? Uncle, can I be in that caravan shuhada also? Don't leave me out because of my age, uncle. Don't overlook me because of my size, uncle. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam has to test Qasim now. He has to understand, Qasim, you're at that age where it might not be your place. Qasim, you have to answer a question for me before I can tell you the answer. Qasim, you have to answer this question before I can let you know if you're in the roll call of shuhada or not. Qasim, what do you think of death? And a lot of times when you hear this, Qasim, what do you think of death? The question is this, Qasim, what do you think of death in the service of Allah? Qasim, what do you think of death on a battlefield versus death from old age in a hospital bed? Qasim, what do you think of death tomorrow or life for another 60 years in ignominy and shame? Qasim, what do you think about death or a lifetime filled with fear and anxiety? Qasim says, uncle, martyrdom in this path, struggle and death in this path, ahla min al asal, it's sweeter to me than honey. Qasim, it's sweeter to you than honey? When Hussein hears this, then Hussein says, yes, Qasim, you will be amongst the shuhada. On the day of Ashura, after these companions had gone and fought, comes the turn of Hazrat Qasim. And you've heard of the begging that Qasim has to do to get to the battlefield. You've heard that they went trying to find the armor that could fit Qasim. They went and they brought one chainmail shirt and they put it on Qasim, but it was too big. They brought another one, put it on Qasim, still it's too big. They brought a helmet for Qasim, they put it on his head, it was too big. They brought a sword for Qasim, but it was too heavy for him. They brought him a shield, but it was way too heavy for him to bear and to carry. You know 12-year-old boys. Qasim wants to go to the battlefield. He doesn't want to be in a fashion show. You're holding up Qasim, keeping him back by trying to fit these clothes on him. Finally, Qasim says, look, take this off of me. These things don't fit me. Don't think that they were looking for armor for Qasim, and Qasim also was looking for armor. Qasim was not interested in the armor. He says, leave the armor. I don't want any armor. I don't need this big sword. I don't need a shield. Let me go and fight in the defense of my uncle Hussein. They arm Qasim with possibly the shortest type of sword. For a grown man, it would have been used as a one-handed sword. For Qasim, it was a two-handed sword. They tell you that Qasim went into battle reading that line of poetry, I am Qasim ibn Hassan, and I follow the religion of my uncle Hussein. This is something that we see amongst all of the shuhada. On the day of Ashura, they don't identify just singularly anymore. Now they identify with Hussein. Qasim, on the day of Ashura, steps out into battle. I want to read to you from the enemy reports. I had told you that enemy reports were what we have in our hands many times. The enemy says, and I saw a young man step forward who was like a part of the moon that had come down. His beauty was excellent. He had no armor, and he carried no shield. And I'll never forget that one of the bands on his sandals were untied. Here was a boy going to battle with his shoelaces untied. Hazrat Qasim steps into the battlefield fearlessly. And even Qasim was able to fight because of the strength of Hazrat Abul Fadl al-Abbas. The alam of Abbas was still in the camp, and so the enemy feared to go near. You've heard about what happens when Qasim is struck down. He's the only one that doesn't call salams. He's the only one that cries out for his uncle's help. The enemy reporter says that one of the combatants fell on Qasim and he raised up his left hand because he had no shield. Qasim had no shield. So as the enemy struck at him, Qasim blocks the blow with his left hand. And this arm is left dangling by a piece of flesh. And Qasim cries out when he's cut, "Oh, my uncle." Hussein hears the cry of Qasim and speeds to the side of Qasim. But by the time he's arrived, Qasim is laying, breathing shallowly in the dirt. Now look at the reaction of Hussein. Hussein says, "Qasim, it's so painful for me. Qasim, you called me. You called me for assistance, and I wasn't able to answer your call. Qasim, I tried, but I did not return in time." The enemy reporters say, Hussein picked up his nephew and held him in his arm. And again he says it, "I will never forget that one of the bands of his sandal, of his shoe, was untied." وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمِ وَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى قَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ آمين رب العالمين. مات مع حسين يا حسين. يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين
قاسم 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 شهید 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 قاسم قاسم شهید قاسم 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 شهید قاسم 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 شهید قاسم 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 شهید Qasim Shahid. Oh, Uncle Shining Moon, let me look one more time. Let me look at your eyes. Let me look at your face. Pride and joy of Hassan. See how your uncle cries. See how your uncle cries. Qasim, amana of your mother. brother Qasim, amana of your brother Qasim, amana of the Rasul Qasim, amana of Allah Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed. Oh, the joy of my heart, of Hassan you are proud, how your uncle loves you. How can I let you go? In my care you should grow. God, you're only a child. God, you're only a child. Qasim, memory of my brother Qasim, last hope of your mother Qasim, handsome like no other Qasim. How can uncle see you go? Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Hi Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed. Oh, my little Qasim, how your uncle did wish to see you grow you. Oh, my little Qasim, how your uncle did wish to see you grow you. See you married one day, hold your children and play. Karbala killed my wish, Karbala killed my wish. Qasim, so full of youth and life, my Qasim, this shouldn't be a child's life. Qasim, how can I stand here and watch Qasim, so just killing my child, ya Qasim. Hey Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed. Curses to the one who lays in wait to kill my Qasim, oh my nephew. My may two eyes go blind, but do not let me see any harm come to you, any harm come to you. Qasim, horses are galloping, where's Qasim? Uncle is running, screaming, Qasim. Suddenly the dust dies down, Qasim, pieces and pieces scattered. Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, hi Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, Qasim, Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed Qasim, 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 Shaheed. Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shaheed, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shaheed, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, everyone, Ali Asghar. Tonight's for Ali Asghar Shaheed, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar. Shahid. Asghar stares at Hussein, too small innocent eyes. Asghar stares at Hussein, too small innocent eyes. Silence between them, those sunken eyes speak out. Silence between them, those sunken eyes speak out. Father Husseini, water for me, I'm so thirsty, I'm a baby. Father Husseini, water for me, I'm so thirsty, I'm a baby. Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shahid, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shahid, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Shahid. Father stares at baby, tears of shame roll down. Father stares at baby, tears of shame roll down. Should a father not protect his little baby? Should a father not protect his little baby? My sweet baby, forgive daddy, God knows the shame I have in me. My sweet baby, forgive daddy, God knows the shame I have in me. Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Asghar Shahid, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shahid. Look at me. Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shahid, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Asghar Shahid. Soldiers are staring at this dying baby boy. Soldiers are staring at this dying baby boy. He's showing them his tongue. He's showing them his tongue. Choking dry, it speaks out. Choking dry, it speaks out. Oh, you soldiers, please have mercy. I have no sword, I'm a baby. Oh, you soldiers, please have mercy. I have no sword, I'm just thirsty. Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Shahid, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Shahid, Ali Asghar. Shahid, he's holding baby tight, hoping they'll show mercy. He's holding baby tight, hoping they'll show mercy. Kal Hormala one says, Hussein goes blind with fear. Kal Hormala one says, Hussein goes blind with fear. Three-hit arrow, leave my baby, don't kiss his throat, please leave him free. Three-hit arrow, leave my baby, don't kiss his throat, please have him free. Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Shahid, Ali Asghar, Shahid, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar. Shahid, baby is bleeding so, father is shaking so, baby is bleeding so, father is shaking so. What will he tell Robab? Mother is hoping so. What will he tell Robab? Mother is hoping so. Oscar, take my great sacrifice, I can return. Sacrifice, I can return to the campsite. Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shahid, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar, Ali Asghar Shahid, Ali. Are you gonna do it? Thar Allah, Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword of God. Thar Allah, Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword. Brother, son. Thar Allah, where's the son? Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword. Thar Allah, Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword. Karbala is on our mind. Let us see what we can find from the lies of Hussein's men, who wrote the truth with a bloody pen. Thar Allah, Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword of God. Thar Allah, Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword of God. Thar Allah, Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword. Thar Allah, Thar Allah, Hussein is the rising sword. Young of Abbas, what can we say? Look at his body, end of the day, bloodied and cleave. Now perceive the faith of a soldier who truly believes. Thought Allah, thought Hussein is the
rising sword of God.
Thought Allah, Hussein
Is the rising sword of
I thought Allah, Hussein is the rising sword of God. Thought Allah, Hussein is the
rising sword of God.
Hur the free was able to see the clarity of the Imam's plea. Hur the free was able to see the clarity of the Imam's plea. He switched his right and changed the tide and rushed to his death with battle pride. Thought Allah, Hussein is the rising sword. Thought Allah, Hussein is the rising sword. Thought Allah, Hussein is the thought Allah,
Hussein is the
rising sword. There's Habib wishing to be the first cut down by the enemy. There's Habib wishing to be the first cut down by the enemy. His loyalty was completely for the son of Imam Ali. Thought Allah, Hussein is the rising sword of Thought Allah, Hussein is the rising sword of God. Thought Allah, Hussein is the rising
sword of God.
Thought Allah, Hussein is the rising sword of God. Thought Allah,
Hussein is the rising sword of God.
آی میره پیامبر خدا حافظ خدا حافظ میره پیامبر جواب خدا حافظ خدا reflection of حیدر خدا حافظ خدا my most precious treasure خدا حافظ my علی اکبر خدا حافظ خدا حافظ mirror of پیامبر خدا حافظ خدا حافظ mirror of پیامبر خدا حافظ reflection of حیدر خدا حافظ my most precious treasure خدا حافظ علی اکبر خدا حافظ خدا Your turn to live hasn't come, Waladi. My heart is in pieces, Waladi. All the women and children light up to bid you a farewell, Waladi. Your turn to live hasn't come, Waladi. My heart is in pieces, Waladi. All the women and children light up to bid you a farewell, Waladi. Ali Ali Akbar Waladi Ali Ali Akbar Waladi Ali Ali Akbar Waladi Ali Ali Akbar Waladi Ali Ali Akbar Ali Ali Akbar Hussein 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 Hussein, 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 here I lie, Ya Mawla, run to me before I die. Oh my uncle, here's my blood, come back to me one last time, come back to me one last time. Hussein, 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 Hussein. Hussein, Hussein, I'm a martyr killed for you, only sacrifice for you. Oh, uncle, what will you do when no one remains for you? When no one remains for you. Hussein, 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 Hussein. Oh Hussein, why the pain as we die here on this plain? Where's Muhammad, where's Qasim? Soldiers so young have been slain. All your loved ones you have carried, all your young ones you have buried, all your young ones you have carried, all your young ones you have buried. Hussein, 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 Hussein. Hussein, 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 Hussein. Now if you witness all of us, swear to you by the Quran, we will serve you on and on. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein John. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein John. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. Hussein, 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 Hussein. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. Now it's done, all is done. Hussein, you're the only one. Here comes Shimmer with his sword. His shadow blocks the setting sun. Is there no soul that will serve you? Master angels don't deserve you. Is there no soul that will serve you? Master angels don't deserve you. Hussein, 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 Hussein. Now you witness all of us, swear to you by the Quran, we will serve you on and on. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein John. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein John. Hussein, 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 Hussein. You're the truth to all the lies. Through you we found the way. You forever changed our lives. So you'll always hear us say, Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. The Prophet loved you dearly, always had you in his lap. And while he would be praying, you'd be playing on his back. He said Hassan and Hussein will lead the youth in paradise. So follow their commands, whether they sit down or they rise. And then the tears filled up his eyes, till they kiss you now before they take your precious life away. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.